Well, it's time for some business news with Kweku Teming, and sawmillers in the Western region seem to be in some kind of condition. They're not very happy, Kweku.
Oh, well, Issa, just around yesterday we had the compost plant workers there just saying that a lot of them were going to be laid off. Similar situation here. Sawmillers are saying if there are no interventions, obviously, they would have 2,000 of them going home. Already they've had about 300,000 of them being laid off within the past years, and they fear more people definitely would get home. What they are calling for are policies. So tonight we talk about this. We get many other interesting details from our world of business. My name is Kweku Teming. Let's now get the details. Now, just like we were talking about early on, sawmillers in the Western region want government to implement policies to save the crumbling industry. Over 330,000 workers have lost their jobs in the timber industry over the past 10 years. An estimated 2,000 more workers will be packing home within the next 2 weeks if government fails to introduce measures to reduce the high cost of production.
Ghana used to benefit hugely from foreign exchange earnings from timber production and exports to the European market. The country's forest zones measured up to 8.2 million hectares in the last century, but has been reduced to 1.2 million hectares through illegal logging. Demand from the European market is only legally sawn timber. Ghana and the European Union have entered into a voluntary partnership agreement to ensure a legality assurance system and tracking of the wood from the forest to the factory and ports of export. The trees must be numbered with codes with strict assurance, as the burden of proof of legality is dependent on the importer and not the exporter.
One thing likely to affect it is the influx of log which is illegal, which has flooded already the market. The determination of government to ensure that there's strict compliance to this is likely to affect the booming of the industry. Already, loads of people have been laid off by players.
The sawmills have welcomed the system but fear it will only get the result in the long term.
Besides the cost of electricity, I have the cost of the royalties, stampages, that means the cost of the log, the cost of fuel, the cost of spare parts, the cost of so many things is making our industry very difficult to manage and to run.
A meeting between the European Union head of delegation, the Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, and Samatex Timber and Plywood Company exposed the lapses in the system.
When you see the amount of valuable trees here which are getting bent because there is no clear-cut policy on how to make sure that these trees are sustained, then what does the VP help us in the future?
It's up to us policymakers to put in place measures to ensure that we allow, if we may have some arrangements with the farmers, to ensure that, to give them some incentive to know that when they leave the trees on their farm, they stand to benefit more than cutting the trees.
The European Union have expressed its strongest conviction to ensure the VPA is implemented to the latter.
The concern of job cut is a very important concern for Ghanaian and for European. We have the same situation in Europe where there had been many job cuts. But job creation should come from legal activities. It should not come from illegal activities.
The concerns of more job cuts is expected to double in the coming days if government fails to urgently address the challenges. Komla Kluchem, TV3 News, Samra Boy.